This will be called Ann Mandala 1. Ann Hill is a very creative person. She does a lot of sewing, making a lot of clothing and quilts and bags, and she does a lot of drawing, but she also gets this book with black and white outlines of mandalas. Now, mandalas are very important in many cultures. They have to do with a design that brings you from the outer to the inner, but then combines them so that they are not separate. They are very important in Buddhism especially, but they are all over the place, even in Western culture, in Indian culture, all over the place. What Anne does with these is that she takes the black and white pages and she uses certain kinds of pens and uses certain kind of colors in a certain order, so that you find these many times in 3D. She doesn't tend to intend that at first, but they tend to come out that way. So what I'm going to do to begin with is show you some from November 2024, and all I will do is bring one at a time up on the screen so you can see how they look like. This will be Ann Mandala 1. You'll notice also that in each mandala there are different designs. You'll notice she has her date that she made it on there. You'll also see that some of them look like flowers. Some of them, if you look very closely, may appear as a window. But you will notice how she uses colors to get them in such a way that there is a unity in them, which there should be a unity. She is very careful with what color she uses, and she's very concentrated while she does these, because that's a very important part of what is done. Notice the colors. Notice the organization of the colors. When you see these, it gives you some idea of how well she is aware of what she is doing. And you can see in each one of these what a unifying symbol or image this is. The psychiatrist, psychoanalyst Carl Gustav Jung in his patients often would draw these mandalas to make unity of their inner and outer self. Also, one would say in his case, it would represent the collective unconscious, not just that of those who are involved. Now this one here in particular, you'll notice the color, getting closer here so you can see that carefully, that it's made it almost has a shining quality. Now that is, again, dependent on the kind of pens that she uses. She has many of these, of many types, and she gets many types on purpose to do these. John D.E.E. was also a Westerner who used these as well. Now look at this one. Notice the difference between that one and this one here. You'll notice also that some are much more detailed than others. And has many of these that she has done. Therefore, I will be putting them into groups so that we don't take too long with each group. But I do want you to be able to see what they look like. Depending on what kind of paper she's using, some of these actually go through this paper and come out the other side. And sometimes I will take a picture of the other side, as you can see there, because it goes right through. Notice this one. Notice the unity of the colors in that one. Now notice the difference of the colors in this one. Also, certain cathedrals have these on their floor as a religious pattern. Those who are interested in Buddhism should look up their use in Buddhism, because that's a very important part of Buddhist practice, meditation, and mind control. Notice sometimes they're within the circle, and sometimes they come out of the circle. There we saw one that came out of the circle. Now you see this one stays completely within the circle. And of course, the circle is a very main point in all of these. If we want to, we could make that equivalent to the, what we call in our system, the number 0, which appears to have no numeric meaning whatsoever. And yet, without a 0, you can't go, in our numerical system, past the number 9. You won't go past it without using a 0, which supposedly has no numerical value. Now this circle here may have no numerical value either, and yet in our number system, you don't go beyond 9 and literally take a 1 and a 0 to make 10. Now, you see that one? How very detailed that is. The detail makes the concentration deeper. The more detailed, the more concentration is necessary. In this one, you can see the choice of colors that Anne does is very important. Every single thing on here has a particular meaning, and one may go through these. In fact, when she's doing them before she even starts, she will tend to see in them perhaps something like a face, a certain part of an animal, notice the inner spiral. There is an example of motion, continual motion. There is stillness, but there is also motion. One cannot have one without the other. This mirrors the first two hexagrams of the Chinese Book of Changes called the I Ching, where you have the first hexagram as all solid lines. You have the second hexagram as all broken lines. Absolutely necessary to have both. You cannot have one without the other. The first represents heaven, the sky, the cosmos. The second represents earth, that which is revealed. Put them together, and you have the different layers of reality that we live in. Notice the carefulness that she uses here with colors in this particular one. Now we will stop this here, and then we will continue. This will be Anne Hill Mandala 1.